born and bred. They are planted, rooted, established, surrounded by cousins and grandmothers, celebrated by friends and grandfathers. Hi, I'm Ombonusi Obiagili, and here goes Pedagogy, where I talk to you about social, political, and economic matters in the form of a 1,000-word essay to grow your mind. Subscribe and keep watching. Igwebuike, community is power. The underlying principle of this universal fact holds true in high-income countries. They stay together, eat together, and build together, strengthening the emotional bond and the mental bandwidth required to live a fulfilling life. Same people, same place, same experiences, unleashing that cycle of familiarity that breeds success, releasing an assertive disposition in their children, and rekindling a verve that is utterly fearless in their young adults, born and bred. They are planted, rooted, established, surrounded by cousins and grandmothers, celebrated by friends and grandfathers. There are so many perspectives on what community means these days and how it is more than just the proximity of people. While the central theme of community, which is the security and the assurance in belonging to any group at all, supports this, and even as other forms of modern communities, such as the music community, the science community, are being engineered and encouraged, we know that one cannot really stop being from where they are from. I cannot stop being Nigerian or African. This, to me, then makes geographical communities, that is, indigents living together, the ultimate representation of the world. The artificiality of the communities that we form outside of us and the reality of the trees we plant outside of our land is that we can be uprooted without notice, banned without recourse, and excluded without explanation. Ideally, in modern Nigeria, immigration has not always been the first resort. As a matter of fact, it was for most people the last. Surely, international travel and vacations were outlets of pleasure for the rich, but long-term settlement, not quite a Nigerian dream, not the African aspiration either. This new cultural norm that presents it as the default plan is prevailing and taking root because it has become the easiest way out of our collective failure, which is handed down to us from generation to generation, a history of failed promises, of unrewarding career paths, and of unreachable dreams. It is but a means out of a life that can be cut short from a lack of development. Yet, going by Karl Marx's popular philosophy that the end justifies the means, then the illusion of success created by life away from one's kinsmen is indeed exposed for what it really is: illusions. For what kind of successful end? Does immigration justify if we leave only to arrive home to bury our parents and siblings, our aunties and uncles, our sons and daughters, living far away from the living, yet coming home to the dead to pay our last respect? The end does not justify this needs. I lived in Oxford for about a year, and the Oxford City Council still holds town hall meetings to discuss their city issues. And now back in Calgary, the City Hall still stands out as my train ride zooms across it on most mornings when city plans are being made. But us, our WhatsApp groups have replaced village square meetings, our financial remittances have replaced physical hugs, and our dinner time replaced by video calls, all under an excuse that life must be lived and we must do what we have to do. Fine. Yet this is not a global occurrence of changing times. It is not also a natural progression of events that cannot be minimized. To prove this to you, I will paint a vivid picture of two young men. The first is John from Kenmore, Alberta, and the second is Jide from Ogoja, Cross River. John from Kenmore, a toddler in the Bible studies class in the community church, a teenager in one of the neighborhood high schools. Friendships are naturally forming and strengthened by nearness. A young adult in the University of Calgary, Alberta's biggest city, John is the third generation of his family to attend. Now an adult, climbing the ladder in Calgary's corporates, and soon a husband, a father of three. For the Christmas holiday, John drives barely 105 kilometers from Calgary, where he has been settled after school, to the family house in Kenmore to celebrate with friends and family, mother and father, grandmother and grandfather, and a lorry load of cousins. He attends the community church on Christmas morning, and everyone cannot get enough of each other. John has never left North America. He has never left Canada. He has never even left Alberta. There is no need to, because his life is self-contained and he lives close to his cheerleaders. If he had to, it would be for vacation. If he needed to, it would be to see the world for pleasure. Jide, born in Ogoja, his early years are determined by his parents' choice of a secondary school far away in Abuja, many kilometers away from home. A young adult, now in the University of Ibadan, left Nigeria in 2008 in the guise of the pursuit of a higher degree with an ideology that anywhere outside of Nigeria has better opportunities, beginning in South Africa for masters, and then Cyprus for employment, then Finland, then England, and then Canada. Jide is fleeing a poor country, but in the process, he's fleeing his life. His entire life, a journey in the literal sense. He lives like he's auditioning for life, a life of attempting to live. Jide's ties are weak. His children's ties are even weaker. Never met a cousin, never met a grandparent, never met their cheerleaders. This Christmas, Jide cannot afford to fly his family of 5, 12,000 kilometers to Ogoja for the holidays, not only because of the costs, but also because of the dreaded awkwardness in what might be left of home. John or Jide, we decide what we want. Our goal should be self-sustainable villages, towns, cities, states. But over the years, our choices, however, indicate that we are being crippled, but we are in love with our wheelchair, in jail, but in love with our jailer, in agony, but in love with our pain. To conclude, the Nnewi that we desperately want, the Nigeria that we truly desire, the Africa that we sincerely hope for, would be built by pockets of goodness in tiny corners, small people doing great things, upheld by common ancestry, fostered by personal convictions that life should be more than the pathetic gloat of living abroad, that home is indeed a geographical location, that we have to reach beyond ourselves and build from ground to top, from bottom to top, here a little and there a little. And one day, when we look back, we may see a whole new world of possibilities. This period, this season, as you make your way back to the tiny part of the world where no power, policy, or president whatsoever, whosoever, can ban you from. Seek ways by which you can change something, somehow. For I believe that community, the one you come from, geographically, homegrown, is the last frontier. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year in advance. With love from the Pedagogy Group.